I think I was sexually harassed at the emergency room by my nurse. I-26F, am not sure if this is the wrong sub, and I'm not sure if this is legit or not, or if maybe I'm overthinking it. On the 17th of this month, I got COVID, but didn't test positive until last Wednesday. I have been in and out of the doctors between multiple tests, not getting better, x-rays for pneumonia, etc. It turns out I have long COVID and have this really bad residual cough that's getting much worse. Last night, my coughing and chest pain were bad, so I decided to go to the emergency room, got checked in at the waiting room around 2 a.m., didn't get seen until 6 a.m. Around 6 a.m., I get my room, and an older man is my nurse. Maybe older 50s, young 60s? He felt very much like a sweet caregiving dad or grandfather, which may be why I didn't think much of what he said/did because he felt intentioned. The first thing he says and notices is my wedding band, no engagement ring, just a skinny little band. Asked me how long I've been married, I say 5 years. He mentions he's been married for 35 years and she has remained faithful to him, and he always tries his hardest to remain faithful to her and tries his best. He also compliments my name, saying it's one of his favorites. If he was going to have another child, it would be Top. After writing down, came in with cough, chest pain, and checking my vitals, he moves on to my belongings. I guess, and this has been confirmed, that they need to log all of your items as people like to leave them and come back on the hospital. With me, I had a phone, fanny pack, and water bottle. Skipping those, he starts with my sweater. In his exact words, he asks if I have a bra on. I say no. He said, "You're not wearing anything under your sweater?" I said I'm wearing a thin shirt and pull it down so he can see. He writes sweatpants, and again asks if I am wearing panties. I say yes. He says he needs to see at least the band of my panties, so I show him. He continues and writes down my wedding band, and asks if I have any earrings in or other jewelry. I said, I have my belly button pierced, he says to show him. I do. I then tell him that I do also have my nipples pierced, thinking he would just write it down. But instead, he says he needs to see, so I show him the one closest, and he mentions he needs to see both, the other one too, so I do. To what I think, stay consistent, he asks me if I have socks on, and to show him, so I do. He also then writes down my water bottle, fanny pack, and phone. Laying down, my pant leg was coming up, and he noticed some scratches and asks what they are from, and I just say shaving, and luckily my mom walks in to visit me around this time. He asks if I have any other scratches or bruises he needs to be aware of. He left and immediately I started to feel sick about our encounter. I ended up getting the nursing supervisor, who was very kind, and encouraged me to report, giving me a phone number. She removed him from my room and apologized profusely. I have been to the ER many times, doctor's offices. I even had an EKG that morning done by triage and nothing felt like this. Am I being dramatic or should I report this?
Am I the asshole? My wife is 30 years old and she is pregnant, and I am 30 years old, literally do everything. My wife is generally physically lazy before she was pregnant. But now it's on a level where if I don't feed her every meal, she won't eat food. She will wait till I'm home to feed her something. We will eat out wherever she wants to eat and I'll cook her food. Not like gourmet stuff, but I'll make sure she's fed without asking. I'll cut up fruit and give her sour stuff cause it helps with her nausea. I do all the groceries, all the laundry, all the dishes including hers and mine, walk the dog every single day, and the list goes on and on. I do almost everything and I'm feeling burnt out. I came back from basketball late at night and I'm exhausted and didn't eat anything, and she didn't eat anything. Even though we had leftover food. She didn't want to eat it cause she was tired of it. I cut up strawberries for her and go shower. I ask her to take out stuff so I can cook dinner for myself. She ends up actually cooking for me, and when I come down and I thank her. Then she turns around and asks me, "Can you cook more?" And I said, "Like what?" in a really pissy way because I was pissed she had the audacity to ask me that. When I literally feed her almost every meal she eats and do like every chore. We hired cleaning ladies too. That come once a month to help. She gets extremely angry, slams the door upstairs, and said, "I wish you knew how it feels to be pregnant," and I'm in disbelief. I tried communicating and apologizing for how I said it. I rubbed her back and kissed her head, and the moment I tried to explain myself, she yells at me saying, "I don't want to talk about this shit right now, I'm pregnant and cranky," and starts crying. And says I get so defensive. I just left the room thinking, WTF am I supposed to do? I can't even say my feelings. She shuts down. Am I the asshole for not being empathetic enough to my pregnant wife?
I spent almost $10,000 on my wedding, and I didn't even get to attend. Me, 24F, and my husband, 31M, got married in June of this year. We'd been engaged over a year and a half, and had the date picked out literally 2 days after he proposed. I dreamed about this day from the second he asked, and couldn't have been more excited to marry my best friend. Each thing that was checked off our list upped the excitement that much more, and long story short, we were just so excited for our wedding day. Fast forward to the week of the wedding. Wedding is on Saturday. Monday, my oldest daughter, 5, gets sent home sick from daycare after throwing up and a fever. She only throws up once, and is completely fine the next day and the rest of the week. Thursday, my youngest, 2F, throws up once, and again, completely fine otherwise. Friday night, my maid of honor gets to town, stays the night, and we get pretty damn drunk. We end up talking until 2 a.m., most of which I don't even remember. Wedding day, I wake up with a headache, but not really much of a hangover. Go to the bathroom, and for lack of better words, pee out my ass. I pass it off as beer shits, my best friend and I pack up our stuff, and head to my mom's house to get ready. Wedding was at her house. The diarrhea is still coming in waves. They give me for Imodium pills to try and help, which did for a little while. Most of the bridesmaids start filing in, and as I'm trying to finish up some decorations, my stomach starts to churn, and I'm feeling nauseous. I'm still trying to convince myself this was just a hangover at this point and it would pass. About an hour of this goes by, and I knew it was something more. I sit down to start getting my hair done, get up to go throw up, and boom. While I'm puking, I completely shit my pants. I pulled 2 of my bridesmaids aside, and tell them I think I have the flu, and start freaking out not knowing what to do. We decide I'm going to take a bunch of meds, and try to tough it out. Nothing worked. Every time I would try to start getting ready again, I was back on the toilet 5 minutes later. Basically Montezuma's revenge, if you will. My sister even called her neighbor who's a paramedic to come give me 4 fluids in the living room to get me through it. Bless his heart, I think he saved me from dehydration that day. Wedding started at 5, finally by 4 I work up enough strength to get ready. By this point we only had an hour until the wedding started, so that gives you an idea how my look was kind of just thrown together. Get into my dress, and somehow get ready to walk, only 10 minutes behind schedule. Luckily, the ceremony went perfectly, cheeks were clenched the entire time out of fear, but no shit-stained dress. This was all I could do though. As soon as the ceremony was over, I told my husband I needed to go home, and without hesitation, he drove us. Stayed with me the entire time, even after I told him he could go back and enjoy the party. Although this is what we were celebrating anyway, our love, it was such a letdown. No speeches were heard, no dances, no toasts. We basically spent $10,000 on a big party for all our family and friends that we didn't even get to attend. Moral of the story, don't fret over small stuff at your weddings that don't even matter. Be present and enjoy every minute of that day if you can. You never know if something unstoppable is going to quite literally shit on your day.
Comment below your interesting stories. We'd love to read all of them. We value you and welcome you to our family. Please like and subscribe because my partner is going to quit. Turn on notifications for more spicy stories like these ones.